All right, we have arrived at the end of IEOR 185, Smart Cities India. In fact, I completely ended it because I'm sitting where it all began, in the same room where I had my posters in day one. How fitting. Anyways, so I will discuss the triple fives and the improvements of the class, starting with the 5 takeaways that I learned over the course of the year. First is you gotta be open-minded. Um, you have to be willing to try new things, and if you don't like something, then you just have to take a spin on it and figure out how to like it. Because if you keep a state of mind where you're just cranky all the time, you're gonna have a bad time. Second one, I would say, is you are not the smartest person in Berkeley or the most dedicated. There were some people in this class that I was just like, wow, these are some really, really, really smart people. And I was very impressed by them and humbled to be a part of the class with them and this delegation to Andhra Pradesh. So I say, I guess, be humble. And third, I learned a lot about telecommunications. I gotta say, as a business major and someone who's not too fond of telecommunications in the past, I never thought I'd learn so much about networks and routing and protocols and yada yada, and a lot about business too. I guess the fourth thing I learned was don't judge a book by its cover, because I saw the engineers in the class and I thought, oh, they're just going to be coding and blah blah blah. But it turns out those are the really smart people. They can do both things, where they can figure out a really cool idea and then build it, and that's why they're at Berkeley, and it's really cool. And I'm glad to be a part of that. And then the fifth and final thing is, I would have to say, India is such a cool place. I guess to have I guess that just kind of rolls into the next five. India's cool. Like, that's my takeaway. Because the 5 things I learned from India were out freaking standing. I love the country. First thing was, what I learned was, rules don't apply there like they do here. For example, driving. What the crap? That was insane. Getting off the runway, going through the terminal, and then exiting the Delhi airport for the first time and getting in the seat and driving down the road in the wrong direction was a wake up call. And then, but I also learned how, like, a caring culture, how much there's a collective, a feeling for the collective well-being of people, because none of the cars were damaged. There was chaos and everyone's going whichever way they wanted, but no one was crashing into each other, and they would yield at the last possible second, but they would yield. So that was really cool to see as well. The third thing I learned was, and I think this is for a lot of people, is smart cities for the United States is very different than smart cities for India. And I guess you had a feeling for that, but not until you actually walk in the streets and smell and feel and see do you realize how different the solutions you might think of for San Francisco may be from the things that you see in Vishakhapatnam. I mean, our original idea at the beginning of the course was, oh, let's have like a pothole detection thing that you can put across the network. That is, and Sanjeev came into the group and says, you guys are idiots. Like, you go to India and you will see. And now I understand, like, the culture there doesn't care about potholes. There's a lot of things that they are trying to solve right now before they're going to be willing to go into advanced, technologies. So yeah, smart cities there is different, Peter. I gotta hurry up. I'm already at 4 minutes. So it's a 2, 3. The food is very different. I didn't expect that. It's a lot of mush. 4, let's see. 4 would be, a lot of people speak English, which is really cool. I didn't expect that. And 5th was, there are a lot of smart people in India, and I am just absolutely floored by what they can accomplish with the resources that they have. The university was terrible, but they're really smart people. Now, the 5 things the hurdles that I had, it was hard. I wasn't as smart as some of the other people in my group. I didn't have a technological background, and so I got over that by just sticking to it, going to the meetings, talking to people, doing the research when possible. I went to the hackathon with Sanjeev for like an hour just to see what was up, and I learned. I got it. I just, keep at it. A couple other was a lot of people in the class kind of like hated it, and it kind of got on me. Like it hit me for a while, and I said I'm gonna go over by like a minute. I promise, just 1 minute. I at some point I agreed with them, like, okay, this class, and I will tie this up with the improvements. This class was a bit superficial, I thought, in that we were just kind of being showed around as like parade objects in India, whereas um, some people didn't want to do that, and their attitude just stunk. And yeah, I agreed with him for the most part, but after a while, you just gotta like stop complaining, because like if you set yourself in that state of mind, the entire trip is just like, oh, blah, blah. It was just annoying, and I was sick of it. Another way I would suggest that the class can improve would be let the students do what they want. Like that's the biggest thing I think this class could do. Is you say, we got to build a smart city. I have all these resources for you. Do whatever you want. Don't pin them, and you have to do a blue mix. You have to do a dashboard. You have to have an MOU. Just do whatever you want as long as you make the city smart. Here are all the resources I have available. Do it. We're Berkeley students. We know how to do. We can think creatively. I am floored by all the time when I'm, doing my thing on the racing team. I stop being heavy-handed and telling people what to do, and I just give them the resources, and they get it done, and they come up with unbelievably cool solutions. So innovation has to be completely open, no constraints whatsoever. If you put constraints, it's no longer open to innovation. Alex Koch out.